Maldev Rathore, Rao Maldeo Rathore 5 December 1511 7 November 1562, was an Indian ruler of Marwar, which was later known as Jodhpur, in the present-day Rajasthan state of India. He was a scion of the Rathore clan. His father was Rao Ganga and his mother was Queen Padmavati of Sirohi. Maldev fought in the Battle of Bayana and Battle of Khanwa as a young prince. The defeat at Khanwa greatly weakened all the Rajput kingdoms in India. Maldeo refused to ally with either the Sur Empire or the Mughal Empire after Humayun regained control of North India in 1555. This policy was continued by his son and successor Rao Chandrasen Rathore. The Persian historian Firishta calls him as the most potent ruler of Hindustan. Nizamuddin Ahmad in Tabaqat-i-Akbari calls Maldeo as the greatest of the Rajas of Hind. According to Abul Fazl Maldeo was the most powerful ruler of the region both in rank and position, and for the number of servants and the extent of his territories. Early life. Maldev was born on 5 December 1511 as the eldest son of Rao Ganga, the Rathore ruler of Marwar. His mother, Rani Padmavati, was a princess from the Diora Kingdom of Sirohi. By the time he ascended the throne in 1532, Maldev already enjoyed the reputation of being an intrepid warrior. Traditional and popular accounts list him amongst the most important rulers that Marwar has known. Maldev had supported his father in several campaigns. At an early age he defeated the rebels of Sajat and humbled Rao Dev of Murta by defeating him in battle. Maldev later led a 4,000-strong army and helped the Rana in the siege of Bayana on February 1527 and a month later at Khanwa. He personally led the charge on the left wing of the Mughal army, and after the Rajput Confederacy's defeat, he carried the wounded and unconscious Rana out of the battlefield. In 1529, the Rathore rebel Shaka and Khanzada Daulat Khan of Nagaur attacked Jodhpur. However, Rao Ganga and Maldev defeated this army and killed Shaka. Expansion. Rathore Kingdom. During his reign, Rathore clan reached the zenith of expansion, might and glory. Maldeo's western territories extended up to Sindh Khalistan in the west, Hisar in northeast, Bayana in east, and Khabar Chota Udaipur Gujarat in south. War with Muir. Rao Maldeo took advantage of the Muiri civil war and invaded Muir. He established a garrison at Jodhpur in Muir and annexed the lands of Sampar, Kalsi, Fatehpur, Ruwasa, Chota Udaipur, Chatsu, Lawan, and Malwarana. It was during this time that the Sisodian nobles asked Maldev to aid them against Banbir. The combined Rathore-Sisodia army defeated Banbir and secured the throne for Uday Singh Roman II. Maldev continued to take advantage of the war and used the situation to form military posts in Muir, Bundi, and Ranthambore. This led to a bitter rivalry between Uday Singh Roman II and Maldev Rathore. Rao Maldeo and Humayun. Maldeo Rathore had made an alliance with the Mughal Emperor Humayun against Sher Shah Suri. But shortly after Humayun was defeated in the battles of Chausa and Kannauj by the Afghan emperor. Humayun, upon losing most of his territories, turned to Maldev for help and was called to Marwar for refuge by the Rao. According to Rajput sources, Mughals killed several cows on the way to Marwar. This made the local Rajputs hostile towards Humayun as cows were sacred to the Hindus. Humayun was thus forced to flee from Marwar. The Mughal sources, however, blame Maldev for betrayal and say that Maldev breached the alliance because he was given more favorable terms by Sher Shah. According to Satish Chandra, Maldeo invited him, but seeing the small size of his following, set his face against him. Chandra also says that Maldeo could have arrested Humayun, but he refrained as he was an invited guest. War with Jaisalmer. Maldeo Rathore was expanding his territories westward and besieged Jaisalmer in 1537. Rao Lankaran was forced to sue for peace by giving Maldeo his daughter Umaid Bhatiyani in marriage to him. Through this alliance, Maldev was able to secure his western borders and employ a large number of Bhati Rajputs from Jaisalmer. War with Bikaner. Bikaner was a Rathore kingdom situated towards the north of Marwar. Relations between Marwar and Bikaner had been bitter since the time of Bikaner's foundation by Rao Ganga. Rao Maldev used a minor border dispute as a pretext for war and fought a battle with Rao Jatsi in 1542 at the Battle of Sohaba. Rao Jatsi was killed in battle, and Rao Maldev took advantage of this situation to annex the entire kingdom of Bikaner. War with the Sur Empire. A marital alliance with Jaisalmer secured Marwar's western borders, but Maldev was fiercely opposed by the dispossessed chiefs of Bikaner and Murta, who made an alliance with the Sur Emperor, Sher Shah Suri, of Delhi against Marwar. According to the Cambridge History of India, Sher Shah invaded Marwar with an army of 80,000 horsemen, but he still hesitated to attack the Rathore army of 50,000 horsemen. He thus forged letters and deceived Maldev into abandoning his commanders to their fate. Jeta and Kampa. The two commanders of Maldev refused to retreat and gave battle to Afghans near. With a small force of 5,000 minus 6,000, they vigorously attacked Sher Shah's center and created confusion in his army. Soon overwhelming numbers and Afghan gunfire halted the Rajput charge. According to Satish Chandra, Sher Shah's oft-quoted remark, "I had given away the country of Delhi for a handful of millets," is a tribute to the gallantry of Jeta and Kampa, and the willingness of the Rajputs to face death even in the face of God. After this battle of Samel, Qawaz Khan Marwat and Isa Khan Niazi took possession of Jodhpur and occupied the territory of Marwar from Ajmer to Mount Abu in 1544. However, Maldev reoccupied his lost territories in 1545. War with Amur. Rao Maldev defeated Barmal and captured 4 districts of the Amur kingdom. Barmal, in order to save himself, sought help from Haji Khan Sur. Battle of Harmoda. Haji Khan was a slave of Sher Shah Suri and became the lord of Ajmer and Nagaur after the Battle of Samel. Maldev, who was on a resurgence to win back his lost territories, attacked Haji. However, the states of Muir and Bikaner came to Haji's aid and forced Maldev to retreat. The relations between Haji and Uday Singh Roman II deteriorated quickly. According to one account, it was due to the demand of a dancing girl by Uday Singh in return for his help against Maldev. Uday Singh threatened Haji for war, upon which he fled to the refuge of Maldev, and together their armies defeated Uday Singh on January 1557 in the Battle of Harmoda. Maldev captured the fortified city of Murta after the battle. Maldev further invaded Amber and forced the Kachwahar Raja to become a feudatory of Marwar. Mughal invasions. Akbar succeeded Humayun in 1556. Many Rajput chiefs mustered around him with their grievances against the Rathore chief of Jodhpur. Akbar used this as a casus belli against Maldev and sent several expeditions against Marwar. The Mughals conquered Ajmer and Nagaur in 1557, and soon after Akbar captured Jaisaran and Parbatsar. However, the Mughals failed to capture the core territories of Marwar. Maldev, before his death, held the districts of Jodhpur, Sajet Jaisaran, Phalodi Siwana, Pokhran Jalore, Sankar, Murta, Barmer, Katra, and some parts of Jaisalmer. These territories were later captured by Akbar due to the succession war between Maldev's sons. Death and succession. Maldeo Rathore had named his younger son, Chandrasen Rathore, as his successor, but after Maldeo's death on 7 November 1562, a fratricidal contest began for the throne of Marwar. Family. Consort. Several. Bari Rani Chandavat Sisadini Fapavadaji Ni Parvati, by first wife of Rao Maldeo. Rani Bathiani Umaji Ni Ramkanvar M. 30 March 1537, Jaisalmer. D. 10 November 1562. Kelvo, daughter of Bati Raval Lukaran of Jaisalmer. She is most famously known as Ruthai Rani, as became angry with Maldeo and remained apart from him. She became Sati at the time of his death and had cursed Ramchandra, a son of Maldeo. Rani Jayhali Narandeji ni Ardhan Bai. D. November 1562, she became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Jayhali Haraji, daughter of Man of Havid, she was the granddaughter of Jayhalajat Sajavat, a military servant of Rao Maldeo. Rani Jayhali Swarupteji, d. c. 1562, a daughter of Jayhalajat Sajavat, principal wife of Maldeo and mother of his successors. She attempted to become Sati at time of Maldeo's death, but was prevented by her son, Chandrasen, who confined her. She was eventually released and had cursed Chandrasen and his kingdom for preventing her from becoming Sati with Maldeo. She had then become Sati. Rani Chauhan Indraji Nian Dambai, d. November 1562, daughter of Chauhan Rav Dalpat, she became Sati at Maldeo's death. Rani Jadav Rajbai, d. November 1562, sister of Rav Mandlik, she became Sati at Maldeo's death. Rani Vaghali Popam Vatabai, Rani Batiyani Ratanbai, daughter of Bati Maharavan of Jaisalmer, she was the granddaughter of Raval Jaitsi of Jaisalmer. She went on pilgrimage to Mathura and died there. Rani Kelhan Batiyani Kisnavadaji, d. November 1562, she became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Jambali Kathiamji, d. c. 1608, Pushkar, daughter of Balajagmal Sujavat. Rani Batiyani Jashar M. Murta, Murta, d. November 1562. Rayam village, she became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Sonagari Damaji, d. before November 1562. Rani Sonagari Ladbai, d. before November 1562. Rani Sonagari Purbai or Purambai, d. November 1562, daughter of Sonagara Chauhan Akbaraj, a military servant of Rao Maldeo, she became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Kachwehi Lachapteji, d. 10 November 1562, Kelvo, daughter of Sakavat Kachwahar Ratansi of Amarsar, she became Sati alongside Umayji. Rani Kachwehi Sadramji, d. c. 1563. Amber, daughter of Rajabim Singh of Amber, she was at her Pahar at the time of Maldeo's death, and was prevented by them from becoming Sati. She had made an oath to Maldeo that she would not be left behind after his death, and thus began to fast, refusing all food except buttermilk to drink. She then died 3 months later. Rani Sadhai Kasamphabai M. Mandor, d. November 1562, daughter of Sadapanvir Rana Patil of Umarkat, she was sent in Dolo and became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Sadhai Laharji, d. c. 1544. Savana, she died during Maldeo's exile after his defeat at Battle of Samal. Rani Ahara Ratandeji ni Lachbai, daughter of Aharo Galhat Raval Prithviraj of Dungarpur. Rani Hadi Ram Bhavataji ni Droptabai, daughter of Hada Chauhan Rao Sir Rajmal of Bundi, she was driven away from the fort of Jodhpur and killed by Maldeo for laughing at his younger uterine brother, Man Singh. The Hadas in retaliation had a daughter of Maldeo, Rajkamvar, killed. Rani Batiyani Darbai M. Mandor, d. c. 1600, daughter of Bati Prithviraj of Versalpur. Rani Tenkani Jamnaji, d. November 1562, she became Sati at the time of Maldeo's death. Rani Chandravadaji, daughter of Chandravat Sisodia Galhat Aklo of Rampura. Rani Sisadini Likmi, daughter of Rana Udai Singh Roman II of Muir. Rao Maldeo also had several Paters concubines and Algonis court singers. One of the Paswan was Tivu Gudi, daughter of Mano Guda of Rohilla. Issue U. Sons Ramchandra, v. 12 February 1530. Jodhpur, Marwar, d. May 1574. Sajhat, Mughal Empire with Lachapdeji, eldest son of Maldeo. Maldeo drove him away after attempt to usurp power in 1547–48. Ram joined Mughal services and also participated in the War of Succession. His daughter, Phul Kanwar, was a wife of Maharana Pratap. Ratansi, v. 6 October 1532, with Ratandeji. Bajraj, b. 24 January 1534, with Ratan Deji. Uday Singh, b. 13 January 1538, Jodhpur, Marwar, d. 10 July 1595, Lahore, Mughal Empire, with Swarupdeji, the first from Rathores of Marwar to submit to Mughal services, and was granted the throne of Marwar by Akbar. He is most famously known as Motor Raja. Chandrasen, b. 30 July 1541, Jodhpur, Marwar, d. 11 January 1581, Pali, Marwar, with Swarupdeji nominated to the throne of Marwar by Maldeo, but lost Marwar to Mughals during War of Succession. He resisted relentlessly Mughals for 2 decades. Ramal with Haraji, his son, Kalyandas of Sawana, opposed the marriage of Prince Salam to his cousin, daughter of Motor Raja, and one of his daughters married Daniel Mize in 1595. Askaran, v. 15 October 1551, Marwar, d.c. 1556, with Rajbai. Gopal Das with Damaji, he was killed for taking the wife of Rao Aso of Chavra. Prithviraj with Ladbai, he was sent by Maldeo with his uterine sister, Lalbai, who was sent to be married to Sher Shah Suri. He never returned to Marwar and died in North India. Kanho with Ladbai. Vikramadit with Rambhavadaji. Fan with Darbai. Zangarsi with Tivu Gudi. Maheshtas with Tivu Gudi. Isardas with an Algoni. Jamal with an Algoni. Likmidas with an Algoni. Netsi with an Algoni. Rupsing with an Algoni. Tedsing with an Algoni. Thakharsi with an Algoni. Tilaksi with an Algoni. Rapal. Jaspant Singh. Kalyan Das. Daughters. Rajkamvar by with Narandeji, she was married to Hado Kahuvan Rao, certain of Bundi, and killed by them in retaliation for the murder of Rambhavati, daughter of Hados, by her husband, Rao Maldeo. Fathamvati by with Narandeji, she was married to Haragalhat Raval Askaran of Dungarpur. She became Sati at the time of Raval death. Kankavati by Hati by D. Jaisalmer with Narandeji, she was married off to Mahmud Shah Roman III of Gujarat and was named Narandeji. After Mahmud's death, she went to live with her sister, Sajambai, at Jaisalmer and had bought much wealth with her. Hamsbai with Narandeji, she was married to Rao Lankaran of Amarsar. Ratnavati by D. Nagore 1592. With Narandeji, she was married off to Pathan Haji Khan and returned in mourning to Chandrasen. She followed Chandrasen in exile. After his death, she was sent to live in Nagore by Uday Singh. A chatri is built at Nagore in her memory. Sajambai with Narandeji, she was married to Bati Raval Haraj of Jaisalmer and named Harkanbai. She was the mother of his successor, Imv. Madhavati by with Narandeji, she was married to Vikela Salanki Verbhadra, Rao of Bandhavgarh. A daughter, D. Young with Narandeji. 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 Indravati by with Haraji, she was married to Rajavat Kachwa Askaran, Raja of Narwar. Durgavati by with Indraji, she was married to Raja Bhagwant Das of Amber. Lalbai with Ladbai, she was sent in Dolo to Sher Shah Suri. Jasadabai with Lachipdeji, she was married to Mohammed Daulat Khan of Nagore. A daughter, D. c. 1556, with Lahoraji. Murambai with Darbai, she was married to Bagrio Chauhan of Bagar. Balhabai, Allahabai, D. c. 1604, with Jamnaji, she was married to either Sadho Pambir Raisal Gangavad of Umerkot or Sadho Pambir Ranavar Singh of Umerkot. She returned to Jodhpur after her marriage and was granted village of Sambat Kumo for her maintenance. Bagravashi was sent in Dolo to Vaghilos. Sajkamvarbai, she was married to Bati Raval Maldev of Jaisalmer. Kalavati Bai, she was married to Bati Akaraj. Gangabai, she was married to Devro Chauhan Miro. Ratmavati with Tivu beauty, she was sent in dolo to Akbar, Mughal emperor. In popular culture, 2013-2015, Bharat Kavir, Patra Maharana Pratap, broadcast by Sony Entertainment Television India, where he was portrayed by Shondra Pal.